Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Knockout Opioid Abuse Day webinar. Today, we're going to go over Knockout Opioid Abuse Day 2021, and it is part of the Knockout Opioid Abuse Day learning series that I know many of you have participated in throughout the year. Knockout Opioid Abuse Day, once again, is going to be held on October 6th. It has been designated that day by Governor Murphy in the state legislature, and we're so excited for some of the changes and adjustments that we've made to the project for this year. So we wanted to fill you guys all in on that. Last year, as you know, it was a completely virtual event. From that, we were lucky enough to have created the Knockout Opioid Abuse Day learning series, which has continued the messages of Knockout Opioid Abuse Day every month since last October, and that has been a great success. We've had tens of thousands of participants in that learning series. So I thank all of you who have participated or have shared information on that. We're going to continue that learning series for this year's Knockout Opioid Abuse Day, and it's going to be, again, really focused on a virtual setting. We'll have a toolkit available on KnockOutOpioidAbuseDay.drugfreenj.org that has messages. We'll have messages using the hashtag Knockout Opioid Abuse Day across all of our social media platforms. We'll have a limited supply of materials available if it's something that you would like for your school, your office, your community. We do have a limited supply of those materials. And this year, we're so pleased that we are able to bring in pharmacists and New Jersey pharmacies to this project, and we're going to be distributing pharmacy bags across the state with messages on them about the importance of safe disposal of unused, unwanted, and expired medicines, as well as safeguarding them in their home and opioid awareness. And we're going to be distributing those for Knockout Opioid Abuse Day to all of the pharmacies in New Jersey. So we're really excited to add that element for this year. Once again, so pleased that we have the support and partnership of all of you and our supporters of this project, which are the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, New Jersey Department of Human Services, Division of Addiction, Mental Health and Addiction Services, and the Community Coalition for Safe and Healthy Morris, with whom this idea originally stemmed and has taken off since 2016. So happy to have some representatives joining us today. We're going to start with Rebecca Alfaro from the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, always a great supporter with the Alliance program. And Rebecca, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Angela. It's really an honor to participate in this event since it began in 2016. So this is our 6th event together, and we're really so grateful to be part of this from the beginning because it is a project that we see great value in, and certainly it's something that is very much in line with the mission of the alliances to continue to spread information and share information within their community about substance use and prevention. And this is a great opportunity for them to continue to spread that message. So we're really thrilled to participate again. Really, the alliances have such a unique community presence, representing 425 towns, over 325 alliances. And they really have the ability to connect with those community stakeholders. And so having those relationships, I think, is really important to be able to continue to spread that awareness. And this is just another wonderful opportunity to partner with our great partners at the Partnership for a Drug-Free New Jersey to continue to spread that message about, in regards to Knockout Opioid Abuse Day. So we are really looking forward to the alliances participating as you have in the past. We've had a great representation in the past from our alliances. There's been a lot of media representation from them on this event in the past, and we're really excited. So I'm encouraging you all to, as Angela had said, there's going to be pharmacies are going to be receiving bags with a lot of information on them. So if you have those relationships with your pharmacists in the community, go ahead and reach out to them. Make sure that they're on the list to get that information. If they're not, you are a wonderful liaison as a community partner in this process to get them signed up for that information. So it's a wonderful opportunity to continue that community outreach, to build a bridge where it may not exist for some of the alliances, or strengthen those relationships with the pharmacists that are already out there. So again, I thank you all for participating. I want to thank Partnership again for being such a great partner in this process. And again, we're thrilled to participate again this year. So thank you, Angela, and I turn it back over to you.
Oh, thanks so much, Rebecca. And actually, before you go, I just want to mention, I know last year many of the alliances were able to get resolutions and ordinances passed in their municipalities supporting Knockout Opioid Abuse Day, or resolutions declaring October 6th as Knockout Opioid Abuse Day. And that was really wonderful. And also the Board of Commissioners in the counties. So I want to just thank you again for helping to coordinate that outreach with the alliances.
Absolutely. Since last year, when when it became an official day in New Jersey, thanks to Governor Murphy, we've been able to really, really boost our advocacy efforts. So for any alliances that need help on that, please reach out to Partnership, because I know they have lots of resources on getting those media pieces together, including resolutions and so forth for your townships if you're interested. So thanks again, Angela.
That's perfect. Thanks so much. And as Rebecca mentioned, there are toolkits that are available, and they're going to have sample resolutions in them, media pieces, sample letters to the editor, and Matt will be going through that in detail in a little while. But thank you again, Rebecca, for joining us. Our next partner is from the Community Coalition for a Safe and Healthy Morris, Barbara Kaufman. This idea, as I mentioned earlier, kind of stemmed from a coalition meeting, and we're so happy to have been partnering on this since 2016. Hey, Barbara, thanks for joining us.
Hi, everyone. My name is Barb Kaufman, and I am with Prevention is Key, as Angela just told all of you. Firstly, I'd love to thank my friend and colleague, Angela Conover, for introducing me, and more importantly, for allowing me to be a part of Knock Out Opioid Abuse, this incredible statewide effort to increase the understanding of the opioid crisis by both educating physicians and raising awareness among New Jersey citizens and families. It's hard to believe that we're now in our 5th year. I know many of you have heard me say this before, but KOOAD really started with a casual comment at a regional coalition meeting in Morris County, which happily Angela and Angelo did attend. I said to our members, we better start knocking on doors to let people know the seriousness of opioid use and misuse and help them to confront it. Angela and Angelo took that simple comment and ran with it, making KOOAD a fabulously successful statewide prevention effort. When it all began in 2016, in Morris County and across New Jersey, volunteers, including municipal alliances, students, legislators, and law enforcement, walked through their communities with door knockers or hang tags and placed them on front doors of local homes. We put them on car windshields, community boards, or anywhere that would easily display our message about the link between prescribed opiates and heroin abuse. We were excited about our efforts and just hoped we could do the same next year. Even more exciting was news that the New Jersey Senate and General Assembly responded to Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day 2016 by unanimously approving joint legislation designating October 6th forever as Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day in New Jersey. We thought it couldn't get any better. Then came 2017, when thousands of moms, dads, prevention and treatment professionals, students, and concerned residents across the state organized to raise awareness about the opioid epidemic that was impacting our state. We had our 2nd annual Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day. In Morris County, hundreds of residents participated with law enforcement, health professionals from Atlantic Health System and St. Clair's hospitals, schools and churches, and legislators joining efforts to bring attention to the opioid crisis facing the state. Volunteers in towns throughout Morris County visited physician and dental offices in their community to share the CDC guidelines for prescribing. Volunteers urged prescribers to follow these guidelines in their own practice and provided information to local organizations and resources focusing on the opioid epidemic for physicians to share with their patients. They also encourage prescribers to discuss the dangers of opioids when they're prescribed, including the risk of dependency and possible alternatives that might exist. Morris County also offered its first Knock Out Opioid Abuse Concert of Hope and Love, when volunteers composed and sang songs about how they were impacted by and confronted the opioid epidemic. The next years saw efforts continue as KOOAD volunteers and activities increased. Former Governor Christie signed legislation limiting number of painkillers allowed without revisiting the doctor, and required physicians to alert their patients of the risks of opioid use. In Morris County, KOOAD awareness is year-round, with billboards on highways throughout the county leading up to our annual KOOAD concerts and theater events that have brought hundreds of community members together to hear the voices and stories of those of us who have been touched by the opioid epidemic. The alliances, and I'm sure Rebecca will talk more about it, blanketed the county and state with KOOAD messages and events. There were now tens of thousands of volunteers. Although 2020 stopped us from meeting in person, hundreds of us came together virtually to watch an original film written for KOOAD, Healing a Beautiful Broken Mind, that portrays the lives of those who have faced addiction and found recovery. We had billboard pics, concert flyers, and concerts to remind community about the problem. In 2021, we will, of course, continue to knock on doors until everybody gets our message. And please join us to make KOOAD 2021 the biggest ever. One more thing, on October 6th, we'll host 2021's annual event featuring our original KOOAD film, Healing a Beautiful Broken Mind, with speakers and performances. And then we'll create 3 more episodes to premiere weekly throughout October. These events will be in person and live streamed so we can reach more people. Please, everyone, get ready, participate in all of our KOOAD events.
Thanks so much, Barbara. Really appreciate all of your partnership, support, your support throughout Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day since 2016, hosting events through those years when we were doing more in-person stuff, and also your commitment and support in the Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day learning series. I know many times we've called on you to help us find a speaker or a representative of a certain topic. So appreciate all of that support and all of the work and commitment you have to making Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day a success. And once again, before we get started, I want to thank you all for joining us today. We're going to have this presentation available on our website, knockoutday.drugfreenj.org. So please share this with anyone you think may be interested in being a volunteer for Knockout Day this year, or is interested in any way in participating. So what exactly is Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day? I know many of you who are with us today have participated before, but it really is a day of outreach to really educate the residents of New Jersey about what the opioid crisis and epidemic really is, and to take some steps to help eliminate stigma, raise awareness, share information on how people can access help, and to really understand the link between prescribed opioids and the heroin and fentanyl abuse rates that we're seeing in New Jersey. And at this point, we really want to continue to educate residents, but also educate the prescribers in our community. And you'll see we'll have a digital toolkit, as I mentioned, available, and there'll be resources in there that you can share with the prescribers, the doctors, dentists, nurse practitioners in your community to get a message out. And as I mentioned earlier, and some of our earlier speakers mentioned, Governor Murphy and the state legislature have designated October 6th as Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day in New Jersey. So it has been the day that we continue this mobilization and this day of messaging and awareness. And we continue to have these conversations for the past 6 years and continue to need to have those conversations today because unfortunately the opioid crisis has not gone away. And with the COVID pandemic impacting so many, we know there are different challenges, and the numbers of people who are impacted has risen, and there are different needs that we need to address. And so that's why we're continuing to get these messages out about Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day, about the need to raise awareness. And thank you again for all of your help and support in doing that. We're going to try to make this as easy as possible for you to participate, and really all of us, anything you can do, any message you can share can really make a difference in addressing the crisis. So there are a lot of opportunities for virtual Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day. There's so many social media focused campaigns that we have, and they can have a major impact. So take a look at the toolkit, follow us on our social media platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, where you can share messaging. We'll have daily emails that are going out to all of you who are on our volunteer list with different ways you can engage your community. We'll have letters and sample emails in the toolkit for you to use in your community. We encourage you to look at different groups of people that you can outreach to, including, as Rebecca mentioned earlier, we're going to have a pharmacy bag outreach this year. So if you have pharmacists in your community, you want to reach out to them, let them know they're going to be getting some pharmacy bags, let them know about some resources that may be available in the community. We definitely encourage that. That's a new part of Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day for 2021. And other groups that we can look at, again, we have law enforcement, we have our faith-based community, we have some sample letters in the toolkit, and there'll be emails that are going out to all of the different groups that I mentioned that will encourage their participation and invite them to participate in Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day. But the toolkit will also have resources for you to go in and send letters on your own. When we look at the Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day Learning Series, which again, I mentioned earlier is a part of Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day, we want you to hold the date, October 6th, not just for sharing messages, but we're also so pleased that we have Dr. Jamie Mells, the Lieutenant Commander for the U.S. Public Health Service, Division of Overdose Prevention from the CDC, who is going to be speaking that day for our webinar. And we also have monthly webinars that we hold mostly in conjunction with NJ Cares and the New Jersey Office of the Attorney General. We've had many different partners and supporters and expert speakers, including Rutgers. We've had representatives from St. Joe's, the Alto program. We've really had a range of expert speakers who have joined us for this webinar series. You can visit and view all of the past webinars, and you can share them. They're all on the website, knockoutday.drugfreenj.org. And again, as I mentioned earlier about engaging new partners, word of mouth is so important. Sharing those videos of previous webinars, sharing resources and tools and things that you find in the toolkit, that is really very helpful. Engaging your local businesses, engaging your own faith leaders, engaging your own community leaders. I know Matt is going to talk a little bit more to us in detail about some of the resources in the toolkit, but I know last year with the first virtual event, we really had so much support from the local municipalities and from the county commissioners in supporting and declaring Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day a priority in their community or in their county. And also from faith leaders who use their pulpit to really get a message out and to help reduce stigma. So once again, encourage you to utilize the toolkit to get those messages out. And so to go over all of the information and resources that are available digitally, I'm pleased to welcome Matt Birchenow, our Special Projects Coordinator Director, to talk you through the toolkit. Welcome, Matt.
Thank you, Angela. Thanks so much for introducing me here today. And thank you everybody who's on today for being a part of this, whether it's your first time or whether you've done this all 6 years or somewhere in between. We're so grateful for your participation, and you are really the people that make this happen. And we're so thankful to have you here today. So as Angela mentioned, there are many components to Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day. And since we will have the virtual focus again this year, there are some things that I would just like to go over and make sure that you're up to speed, so that we can have the greatest impact in trying to address the opioid crisis that New Jersey is facing. So we'll start here with the website, which, as Angela had mentioned before, is knockoutday.drugfreenj.org. As you see right here across the screen, this is really the base of where you will find the resources, where you'll find additional information, and where the toolkits and various items that can help you will be available. So if there's ever some questions as to where to find these things, you can look right on the website, and in most cases, what you'll be looking for will be right there. What we will have, as Angela has mentioned, is just a number of components to this. And one of those, as it's been from the beginning of Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day, is that we try to reach out to the general public, to people in our communities. But we also like to, and it's vital that we reach prescribers, and so that they are equipped with the most up-to-date information on opioid prescribing, and can make the best decisions for their patients in prescribing opioids. And what you'll see here is just sort of how this has evolved, by necessity over the last few years, with the pandemic causing us to go all to virtual outreach. We try to get that message across virtually. Then, as you see on the right, we had the prescriber guide, which will be available digitally, and that will be on the website. And in the past, we would go into offices and hand that out. What we'll be doing instead, as we had done last year, and here's some examples from last year, is reaching these practices and different prescribers and different medical groups via social media or via email or through the website, and sharing this information that way. And you can see there, I mean, there's such an outpouring of information via social media. A lot of these doctors and different prescribers and medical professionals and groups have social media presence and have an online presence, and we can make an impact that way, which is different than we had done it originally, but still quite effective, and gets out to their patients in a very impactful way. The other dual purpose is reaching out to the community and neighbors, as it's always been, and you see the same thing here, where in the past a lot of that was putting door hangers on doors or on car windshields, as you see up top right, or out in front of the local grocery store, or just walking around the community and being out there. Of course, that has changed over the last couple of years as we focus digitally, virtually, to get the message out in a safer way during this pandemic. And you see some examples of last year of high schools, of townships, municipalities spreading the message on their social media. And that's something we'll continue to do this year, and we want to make that impact again. As Angela mentioned early on, right at the beginning here, we do have limited materials that you can request from us if you still would like to have some limited a limited amount to hand out. But the virtual focus is going to be so key, and I think we can, as we had last year in 2020, really make a great impact by virtually focusing and getting this message out. And here's just a few more examples of places where we did get a lot of traction on social media. You see, as Rebecca and the alliances, of course, play a big role in that, and the various alliances and groups that focus on substance use awareness played a vital role in sharing this message with the various resources that we provide. So we just want you to use your social media, your email blasts, however you communicate with your contacts to spread the word, and of course the hashtag Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day, which you've seen on the bottom of a number of our slides already, and you can see in these Facebook posts from last year. Make sure to include that on your post so that we can keep track and make sure, as many people as possible are receiving this message. Another thing that we always, whether it was in person or virtually, we've had the youth and high school students have played a big role in Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day over the years. As you can see, they were among the bigger groups that would go out and deliver door hangers and other resources. But we've also see, through the posts there on the right that they, get involved that way as well. And in certain cases, going to municipal government and just making, sharing that information there. So we will be sort of signing off or providing opportunities for service that are sometimes required, or sometimes just something that high school students or other youth are looking for. So that's something where you could encourage to get that youth involvement, and we would be happy to. The partnership would be happy to vouch and affirm participation in that manner from younger participants this year. So Angela had alluded to this a little bit earlier, and this has been sort of a cornerstone of our efforts for a number of years now, is working with government officials, whether that's at the state level, county, municipalities, in law enforcement, where we get them to amplify our message and make sure that they are leading in this arena, and such a vital issue concerning the opioid epidemic. As you see here, we've had the Office of the Attorney General has been very active in this effort. Governor Murphy not only signing legislation declaring October 6th Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day, but also again amplifying it on social media and really spreading that message to an even greater degree. Sheriff's offices, in this case Monmouth County, as you see here, but a number of offices throughout the state in different counties have been instrumental in sharing this on social media and to their contacts via email and other avenues. County commissioners, as Angela I know had mentioned, in this case Bergen County, I believe, where they get this message out and through videos and there are other ways to do it. But that's something that I think is crucial. It's you want the people leading in government roles to really set an example and to really make this a priority. One way to do that, as Rebecca and Angela had spoken about earlier, was the proclamations or the resolutions, sample resolutions that we have available in our toolkit. So that will be something where it's basically a template for that you can present to your local government and ask them to make in their jurisdiction October 6th Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day. It just is a really, I think, important step just to affirm that they are in this fight along with the rest of us and are doing what needs to be done to address the issue. And that's one way where we can really build sort of the coalition continuing going forward. And we'd like to just see their commitment to it. And so that is available in the toolkit for October 6, 2021, so that you can share that with your local government as well. And there are a number of other partners that we can look to really share this message. Again, just sort of looking at the in-person events of years past versus the more virtual focused approach of last year and into this year. We've reached out to businesses, as you see here. Some pizzerias in the past have been very helpful in sharing this on their boxes with some of the door hangers. We've had some groups like the Elks and others, and scouting, and Angela had mentioned faith leaders and churches and other houses of worship. There's really no limit. If there's an organization or group that is has an impact in your town or county, reach out to them and see if they would help to share the word or spread the word on Knock Out Opioid Abuse Day. And you see this, there's so many examples of that being done on social media and in other ways over the past year or so. So really think outside the box and find groups that I think would be on board to help share the message. And there's really no no limit to who can be in this fight on such an important issue as addressing the opioid crisis in the state. So really be open to who can be part of this. And so with that, I just again would like to remind you of the successes we've had in past years in whether this is your first year or sixth year, you're the vital cogs in this project, and we're counting on you to help get the word out to your community. So we'll be doing that virtually again this year, and of course the website is really your home base to get whatever you might need for this initiative. And you'll be seeing many resources and information on there. But if there's anything else that ideas, requests, things like that you think could be helpful to you and we can help provide, please feel free to contact us. And we just hope that we're looking forward again to another successful event this year, and are again so thankful to have you join us here today. So I'd just like to wrap up and again thank all our partners who have been so great in working with us over these past six years, 6 events since 2016. And again, thank you for joining us today. So we will see you virtually on October 6th. And thank you again for your efforts and commitment to knock out opioid abuse. Have a great day.
Thanks so much, Matt, for all that information. And just to echo what Matt said, thank you all for being with us here today. And again, any way that we can assist you in your efforts to knock out opioid abuse in your community, please do not hesitate to contact us. All of our contact information is listed in the toolkit, and I encourage you to reach out and share if you have an idea, if you have a best practice, if something's worked in your community or you want to try something, please reach out so we can share those messages and we can help you accomplish your goal. Have a good day, everyone.